The video you are about to watch took me several days to put together. More than anything, it's to honor my family and the people that came before me, who blazed a trail and got me to where I am in Maine. I want to take the time to recognize them. I also want to share this story with my family now and future generations. I think it's important to tell stories, and now that we have the ability to document them visually, this can be passed on to future generations. So this video is about 18 minutes long, and I hope it's inspirational for those of you that don't know my family, because the state of Maine is something near and dear to my heart, and I now live here full time, and I do hope that this somehow inspires you. If it does and YouTube picks it up, all the better. Maybe more people will get to watch it. But more than anything, this is to honor my grandparents and my parents, and to share this with my children and future generations. So enjoy the movie. My connection to the state of Maine runs deep. I was not born here, but to me it feels that way. I've been visiting and spending summers in Maine since I was a baby, and now at 61, I call it my year-round home. There is something very pure and raw about Maine, primarily the landscape and the people that live here. It is a very physical place, a corner of the earth where staying active outdoors, connecting to your surroundings, and to the natural world are key elements of the lifestyle. For our family, that outdoor physical connection started back in the early 1950s, when my grandparents, Abe and Francis, built a cabin with their friend Alva Watson, who owned land on Salmon Lake in North Belgrade, Maine. It was an old school arrangement. Abe and Francis were given a 60-year lease for the property at $1 a year, a sweet deal for a teacher who taught math at a Philadelphia area high school in the winters, and in summer was the camp secretary for a boys' summer camp just up the lake, Kennebec Camp. Unfortunately, my grandfather passed away when I was just 10 years old in 1973, but I do have fond memories of him as being someone who was a very kind person and also liked to joke around a lot. Here you can see Abe clowning around for some event at the camp, circa late 1940s or early 1950s. Summers as a boy on a lake in Maine in the 1970s conjure up some of my fondest childhood memories. King of the dock, catching crayfish, frogs, and night crawlers, manhunt in a very dark Maine woods, mile-long hikes to Anderson's Country Store for penny candy, green apple wars, and of course, hours and hours of fishing from the vintage Old Town wooden canoe, or the leaky old metal camp boat that my dad always managed to secure at no cost. Top it off with the invigorating smell of balsam fir and chipmunks scurrying about the front porch, and you have the idyllic recipe for utter bliss for a young boy. Now looking back all these years later, I believe what resonated with me most at that time and helped shape me into who I am today was the freedom of being outdoors in a beautiful environment with plenty of room to roam and few, if any, restrictions. Sadly, today, life for many kids involves way too much structure, rules, and fear-mongering regarding safety. Hopefully we can get back to letting kids be kids. Some of my fondest memories occurred in that old Kennebec camp boat. Getting lost in the lake in the fog with our dad, and when it cleared, my brother Rob and I landing 10 nice-sized trout, and then getting our picture in the paper. Watching a spinner dangle between my dad's eyes on his 40th birthday following an errant cast by my brother, and finally watching my dad make Rob repeatedly dive for his fishing rod in 15 feet of water. He had dropped it overboard in an excited moment. As I moved through high school, college, and beyond, Maine was still a part of my life, but as is often the case with young adults, even for people born here, I became distracted by my own social scene, girls, and starting a career. I still made time to visit, including ski trips to Sugarloaf, and of course to the cabin with friends. Here I can be seen clowning around with my dad, who was staying at the place when I visited with some friends. As our 50-year lease expiration date approached for the cabin, I began to realize that if I wanted to continue my ongoing relationship with the state of Maine, that I should think about finding an affordable property somewhere within the state. The most economical route was raw land. An even more economical approach was to partner up with someone for acquiring it. Frank, my best friend from high school, was soon on board, and shortly thereafter I convinced my dad to accompany me to Maine in the dead of winter to look at a handful of lakefront properties. My dad could never resist a good road trip. Most might perceive it to be odd, but for me it was perfectly normal. My number one criteria for a property was a lake that supported landlocked salmon and a healthy smallmouth bass population. I enjoy fishing for both species, and there is a geographic band running across the center of Maine from the southwest to the northeast, where the climate and topography lend themselves to supporting both types of fish. The second piece of land we walked out on that dreary, icy day in late February really made an impression upon me. As often is the case with lakefront property, it was a long, narrow 44-acre parcel with a mile-long driveway splitting it more or less down the middle. The land had one previous owner. Prior to that, it had been part of a vast holding of tribal land owned by the Passamaquoddy Nation. The most stunning feature of the property was a point that boasted a 270-degree view of water with a stream entering the lake from the backside. Soon after purchasing the property, we found that some of the best smallmouth bass fishing on the entire 10-mile-long lake can be found in the immediate area surrounding our point and is just a short canoe paddle away at any time. We have landed plenty of 4 to 5 pound smallies over the years and some nice pickerel as well. The landlocked salmon fishing is a much longer boat ride, but we have boated many of these over the years by trolling deep with downriggers and or lead core line during the summertime.
It's a big fish.
Owen's got a big bass on here. Wait, you have to get under him. Get under him.
Yes, let's go. I got him.
Oh, he's big.
Oh my God! It's huge. It's huge. It's huge.
Let me see. Let me see. Oh. It's gonna come out. Is it a pickerel? Oh! That's big. That's a huge pickerel. Coleman, don't lunge at him like that.
Oh my goodness!
Coleman, don't do that.
Oh my God! Did you see that?
Yeah, it's huge. Coleman, don't let him bring it to the net. And then you get, you gotta have the net down. Cole, no, don't do anything now, Cole.
Get it! Oh, Jesus! Oh my mother of God!
Got it.
Oh, get it!
Get him in, lift him in. Holy cow, that's a big fish. Oh my God.
Got off.
The property has become a refuge for me and my family, a haven from all the insanity that modern society and the real world throws at us. 25 years later, we have yet to build a structure. We simply camp on the land. often running a mile down the lake by boat from the launch with all our gear. We still have the same picnic table, recently rebuilt, and privy that came with the property. Finally this year, the Adirondack cedar chairs gave out and had to be replaced. Here are some images of this glorious spot, culminating with some more photos and videos of perhaps the most epic rope swing you will ever find.
Wait, no!
I was so high.
Yeah, you were high.
This is just a place where if no one's camped lakeside in Maine, or for that matter, probably anywhere, I really highly recommend it. If you're in a remote area like this, it's incredibly peaceful and quiet. And if you really want to do some introspective soul searching or deep thinking or strategic planning or whatever it might be, this is just a fantastic place to do it. In 2000, I launched a gift basket business as a side hustle. I named it Pure Maine as it featured all made in Maine products and foods. It was the early days of the internet, and puremaine.com was off to a good start. So I decided I needed to take my game to the next level. I was looking for an old fixer-upper somewhere along the coast with an outbuilding or barn from which to run the business and get my own little slice of nirvana. This quickly became a rather extensive search, as I intended to analyze the entire coastline and figure out which area resonated with me. My first trip began down in Portland and headed north. My next trip started all the way out down east in Cutler and headed back south. Towards the end of that second trip, I came upon a region that really spoke with me, and I began to intensify my search. For this third trip, I again brought along my dad, Dave, north with me again in late winter for yet another real estate foray. Yet another gray, cold morning with 2 feet of snow on the ground covered by a half-inch of ice found us trudging up the driveway of what appeared to be a relatively unkept property. The affable lobsterman/realtor, with rubber boots and a plumber's crack, he later became a good friend and neighbor, kept referring to me as Hal instead of Al. When asked if he could get us into the barn, he cursed under his breath and then excitedly exclaimed in his endearing way that he had forgotten the key. Next, he informed me I should just kick the window in to gain entry. I complied. The barn was filled with sawdust and cut-off wood parts and boat parts. Somebody had been building boats here. The lawn was strewn with some debris, and the house was covered in vines in front, and complete with rickety steps leading to a rickety porch. Inside, the home wasn't much better, as it was so jam-packed with stuff that even yours truly was struggling to gain clarity. It wasn't until a month later that I finally decided to put in an offer on the old 1830s farmhouse. It was a fair amount below the asking price. The good-natured realtor was a bit taken aback and muttered something about not being able to make much of a commission, but said he would see what the owners had to say. A few days later, I received a call from a very excited lobsterman/real estate agent. All I remember was him saying, "You've got yourself a deal, Cappy!" Since then, I've spent almost a quarter century renovating the home and improving the property. My twin boys, Owen and Coleman, who are now 18 and away in college, have spent every summer here and have Maine in their blood. We have several videos coming out about all this, but suffice to say, the home has definitely been a labor of love and a slow, arduous process. Aside from the new roofs and the major renovation to the home in 2006, most of the work I've done myself. We love this spot because of its privacy and proximity to the harbor, nearby freshwater lakes, and plenty of hiking trails. It's also walking distance to our small village and store, and just a few minutes from the main town in our area. Wood stoves make it cozy in winter, and ocean breezes keep it comfortable in summer. The endless Maine woods purifies and oxygenates the air. Fresh vegetables, fruits, and eggs are just a few steps away, and the entire area resonates with a sense of calm. My connection with Maine has evolved over the years. For the majority of my life, I was simply a visitor, a seasonal guest that transitioned in and out of the state like a migratory bird. Having now completed 3 years of full-time residency, I have a much different relationship with this place. I still try to pack in as much as I can into the glorious summer months, but I no longer count the days until I'll be heading back to my other life, and instead I feel more relaxed and at peace knowing I have plenty of time to continue to experience all this special place has to offer. The way life should be is of course different for everyone. My hope is that for those viewers who might at times question the path their life is taking, that they become inspired to take a fresh look at what truly resonates with their soul. Maine is far from perfect. Light levels are low in winter and the social scene can be challenging. But when the final tally comes in, it is for me the place where I feel truly alive and free. I wish you all the best on your journey. What do you think they're in store for?
Well, they're going to experience what I experienced. They're going to snap out of this dream that we're in. Some of us are like zombies to the system and we don't even know it. And then you're going to wake up one day and you're going to say, why am I working for someone else? Why am I not in charge of my own life? Like, why am I in a way a slave to this system? And I mean, you may not have it so bad. You might be rewarded greatly, but are you really free? And I think that's the most important question, because once you realize what freedom is and how hard you have to work to really have that, then yeah, you'll be tuning in, because we woke up. I woke up.
Stop.
Oh, I just missed the perfect entry.